Good evening. It's the Locker Room Show here on this Thursday night. And don't forget, coming up at 8 o'clock, two millennials talking. That will be Russell Stroud and Keon Rose. And it's always an interesting show. But first off, the college football poll came out today, the preseason coaches poll. And no real big surprise. Alabama has been picked as the top team in the land. Clemson comes in second, Ohio State third, which I think the poll was tabulated prior to Urban Meyer's mess that he is involved in right now. Georgia comes in fourth, followed by Oklahoma, Washington, Wisconsin, Miami, Penn State Nittany Lions, and at number 10, the Auburn Tigers. And we'll go over the rest of that poll here in just a little bit. But 61 first place votes go to Alabama. Clemson got 3 and Ohio State got 1. But like I said, Ohio State, a little bit of a turmoil and controversy going on right now because of a domestic violence incident that was known by the coaching staff. Urban Meyer's been placed on administrative leave. Usually you don't place somebody on administrative leave unless the facts are there and they're just waiting for the 30 days to go through its course, and then there's termination, typically. So it will be interesting to see whether Urban Meyer can hold on to his job in Columbus, there at the Horseshoe, or whether or not he will be taking his wares, getting his buyout, and kind of taking it easy for a while. Because, you know, once you get into a predicament like that, it's not anytime soon that someone ends up getting a job in college coaching again. Maybe they will. I don't know. Uh-oh. I knew you couldn't resist. My good buddy Keon Rose here, who's the host of The Clutch, and he's also part of Two Millennials Talking. Coming up here, I got to send a memo out to David to leave the cameras alone. He's always goofing around. Yeah, thank you. But Urban Meyer, somehow, I don't know if he was that one vote, gets... this had to have been tabulated before the Urban Meyer controversy came up yesterday. I'm assuming.
Right.
This just came out this afternoon. The poll, that is. Their next one, the media poll, will be released on August 20th, which is about 2 weeks before the first game. But what's your take on this? Are you surprised at Alabama, Keon, that they're number one and Clemson number 2? I don't know about that one. Ohio State 3, that's possible, but I thought Georgia would have been in the top 3 somewhere.
I agree with you. I'm iffy on Clemson too, and the reason why I'm really iffy on Clemson is I just think that the way they play, they're very reliant on that quarterback, on that quarterbacking system. You have to have a playmaker back there. I'm not familiar with their quarterback situation right now, but the fact that nobody really stands out, that does worry me a little bit with Clemson. I wouldn't have had them at 2, maybe top 5, but definitely not 2. Right. And I think that maybe there's 2 based on the strength of Dabo Swinney and his success recently. The Ohio State thing is interesting because of, in terms of where they're ranked, just because I think that maybe we're just looking at Ohio State and going, well, they've already got their team. They've already got their roster. The talent's already there.
Right.
So even without Urban Meyer, you have to think this is a good enough squad to win. I mean, maybe you have to...
The timing, I think, kind of sucks.
Yeah, it sucks a lot.
And, it may... demoralized maybe is not the word to use, but that's what I can come up with at the moment. That may get the momentum or the attitudes in the heads of the Ohio State players. It's either going to affect them a little bit, or they're going to do everything they can to make sure that it doesn't affect them. I mean, this could go either way.
Yeah,
for them.
They either fall apart or they rally around this as a cause. Yeah, it's a tough situation. It's very strange. It's a very strange place to be. That whole story. I talked about it yesterday. If you want to get into it again, I definitely can. I've been tracking
but
it.
But who's the interim coach now?
Ryan Day.
Okay, we don't know anything about
he's the offensive coordinator. Not that much, no.
Okay, he's never been a head coach even on a minor school level?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So this is make or break time for him. I mean, to see how good he really is.
Yeah, and here's the thing with Ryan Day. I mean, you have a good season this season, and you say he leads Ohio State to a first round of the playoff.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they lose, that's a punch your ticket situation to a good program, possibly.
But then you're going to get all the naysayers. They're going to say, "Oh, well, Urban Meyer, put this team together," and that may be true. Definitely. Yeah, but where's Urban when you need him?
He's
sitting on the sideline somewhere.
Administrative leave.
Yeah, well, that, like I said before you walked in the studio, that's just the preliminary thing, waiting 30 days before there's a termination, typically.
Right. And that's my thinking as well, that there's probably a buyout in the works. Ohio State would love to keep him. I think if they can somehow prove that he reported what he needed to report, then even if he lied to the media, which he did, it doesn't matter. But they can say, well, he told us and he was just blurring the facts with the media to protect whoever, and he's fine.
Right. Here's the one thing that you got to remember, and this is true on the high school level as well as in college. There's an institutional responsibility of reporting an incident, whether it's domestic violence, sexual assault, or anything, a criminal intent that has happened.
Title IX.
And, it's still the case on the high school level as well. I know when I was an athletic administrator up in central Pennsylvania back in the mid-90s, if I knew of anything that, didn't smell right, I had to report it to the police first and my supervisors, which would have been the superintendent.
What's perplexing about this, by the way, is that there was an incident in 2009 with the same coach at the University of Florida when Urban Meyer was down there, and he did report it then. So
what's different now?
I have no idea.
Yeah. So there's probably a lot more to the story that not everybody knows about yet, and I'm sure it will come out. But, this really was an eye-opener, and I've mentioned about this the other night, about what happened at Penn State with Coach Sandusky and Joe Paterno. Joe Paterno ended up getting fired because he knew of a situation because of one of the assistant coaches happening to walk in the shower and catching Coach Sandusky molesting a young boy that wasn't even of age. And Coach Paterno didn't report it.
That's where you get in trouble.
Yeah, and you do. And it's like that's why I tell my boys, and I've told a lot of my other young athletes that I've been around, if something doesn't look right and there's witnesses, you better report it just to cover your rear end, because it's going to come back and blow up if you didn't and you knew about it. Be on the up and up. I mean, there's got to be some honesty and integrity in sports, not just on the coaching side of things, even though they're the ones that know better, supposedly, but as a student athlete, you should do that as well. And even if you're not of age, you still need to tell that to your principal or athletic director or another coach, if there is a coach that's involved in the impropriety, because they're responsible for reporting it to the next level up or 100%, to the police.
100%.
It's like there is no excuse whatsoever. And, sometimes kids, I think, feel that, okay, it may not be right, but I don't want to get in the middle. Oh, no, please do, because we got to get rid of that scumbag that's, being a cancer, to that school or to that program or whatever. Don't be quiet about it. Make sure you tell somebody. And it's just one of those things that is gradually coming out more and more. I mean, it's unfortunate that we got sick. Well, there's a word I'd like to say.
Right. But,
there's sick perverts out there that have got to infuriate things that are meant to be genuine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, you want to take a bullet to them, and just take care of it.
I hear you. Like, especially with this thing with Urban Meyer, because I did see some of the pictures of Zach Smith's ex-wife,
Courtney. Yeah.
And it's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, those are some brutal pictures. There's bruises and there's blood. And I don't understand how it is that this doesn't go up the chain of command, because all the wives of the coaches knew. And I find it hard to believe that now this isn't provable. And this is where there's a loophole for Urban Meyer, possibly. It's not provable that his wife told him.
Right.
But you're married.
But here's the thing.
If your wife knew something and it was like someone you knew was in a domestic abuse situation, wouldn't your wife tell you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like it's crazy.
But here's the legal part of it. Now, at least what I'm aware of up in the Northeast.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee may be different. Anything that's said between the husband and wife, it's just like the Vegas thing is between the husband and the wife.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas kind of thing. If Urban Meyer went to trial or whatever, they could not use his wife against him.
Okay.
Because that's just one of the loopholes, I guess. And my wife, she could release all kinds of different things about me. Not that I've done anything sick or perverted or anything like that I know of. But anyway, she would not be forced to testify against me, even if she knew. It should, unless she really wanted to be, what. Typically, that does not happen. You have that. It's sort of like immunity in a way.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. This is not necessarily a court of law. And so whether or not he keeps his job is really just dependent on whether or not the university buys the fact that he somehow didn't know based on what his wife knew.
Right.
And I just think at this point, there's no way to prove it. And if the university can hang on to Urban Meyer, I think they'll absolutely try to.
But the court of public opinion will definitely weigh in on it.
That's true.
I mean, without a doubt. I mean, if Joe Paterno can't get away with it, Jerry Sandusky can't get away with it, why is Urban Meyer any different?
Yeah, Art Briles down at Baylor.
Yep. And it's like, I used to be a board member up in Western Pennsylvania, Northwestern Pennsylvania, up in Erie, with the Domestic Violence Task Force. I was on the board. And I walked a mile in 3-inch high heels, to raise money to try to help prevent domestic violence there in Northwest PA. And I'd do it again, even though I found out I had diabetes after the event. But there is no reason why any man should hit a woman and vice versa. I mean, because there's
domestic abuse that comes back that direction too.
And I've seen the cases up in Erie County. And it's like, if you truly love somebody, you won't hit them.
True.
And if you do, then you ought to get the, beat out of you.
And
I had a sister, love her to death, and she had a jackass of a husband that thought, this punching bag. Okay. Me and my other brother, we went and took care of business. It's like, you want to lay a hand on her? You ain't going to have to worry about the law, because you ain't going to make it to where the law is going to pick your ass up. We took care of business. There's no reason why any man, and this is typical, guys are the ones that are hitting on the women or children even. But you're not a man if you have to hit on a woman, or much less a child, in an abuse situation. Spanking a child, and I know everybody has their opinions about this. Even my boys, we talk about this. My 4 older boys. That's like, I spanked them. I used a belt. I used a paddle, but I did it on the rear end. It's not like I punched them in the head or in the eye or the shoulder or whatever, or in the gut. There's a proper way of discipline. And sometimes I would, talk to my boys, tell them why they're going to get it, to let them know, to understand there's consequences for things that you do. And I know there may be people out there listening or watching us on Facebook or on YouTube that may not agree with me about disciplining a child. But I tell you what, my boys are much better for it, because now that they have families, I have my third son, Richard, love him to death. Turkey we do a lot together, even though he's up in Pennsylvania. Him and his wife, they don't use corporal punishment with a belt or a paddle or anything like that. They set Blake down, talk to him, and either they'll send him to his room, take away his PlayStation or Xbox or whatever, or his remote for the TV where he can't operate it. And Blake's only 8 and he has autism, so they have to do things a little bit differently. But I tell you what, we've had the discussion, about when they were growing up, and did it hurt him? No. Now, Jess, my daughter-in-law, never had that issue. The mom might pull the hair on occasion with her and her 3 other sisters, but, nothing, they didn't get the belt or anything like that. But, everybody's different of their parenting modes and stuff. But getting back to where we were, no man should ever lay a hand on a woman, ever. There's no reason. You walk away, shut your mouth, walk away to keep it from escalating.
Yeah, and you know when that point is usually. You can feel it and you just go. Right. I mean, you just can't put yourself in that situation. And especially if you are, if you're involved in athletics, because you're just destroying somebody,
right?
So much more because of what you are capable of doing right. Physically. It's incredible to me that anyone can still be hitting their spouse, like in this day and age when we know how much more easily we can document this stuff.
Yes,
there never was any reason to.
And Big Brother is everywhere nowadays. There's cameras everywhere. I mean, not everywhere, but I mean, around schools, I'm talking about, if this would happen, or, if it was on campus. And I realize this may have been in their own private home or somewhere else other than Ohio State University. But still, there's too many cameras, security cameras, or whatever.
If you can't do it, if you can't not hit a woman to just be a good person, at least do it so that you don't go to jail.
Right.
Like, just at the very least. I think you should do it to be a good person, obviously, but there are people that doesn't resonate enough with. You're going to be in serious poo if this is right. The direction that you choose to go in. And I also think it's interesting because I was wondering earlier, why is it that Urban Meyer rehired Zach Smith knowing what happened the first time around? And the reason why is that Urban Meyer's mentor, Earl Jones, that's his grandson. And so there's sort of a connection there. Zach Smith would not have been hired anywhere else as a coach.
But like I said last night, I still think it's funny as hell that Greg Schiano did not get the interim tag.
Even
he's got head coaching experience.
He's got NFL head coaching experience. And even then, Greg Schiano cannot even find a way to get to a head coaching job.
I don't care if he coached at Rutgers or coached for the Dolphins or wherever. It's like, he'll never coach in Knoxville, that's for sure.
He'll never coach in Knoxville. And apparently Ohio State went, Greg Schiano with experience or Ryan Day, who's never done this before? Let's go with Ryan Day.
Yeah. I wonder, I don't remember who the AD is there at Columbus. I do know an associate AD that used to be at Penn State. But it's like the AD at Columbus, really, I bet it came down to a coin flip, if anything. And, and Ryan Day was tails. I bet you more anything. And it's like, okay, makes it real simple and everything. But we've got a lot coming your way here tonight. We're going to be talking with Adam Seiler from 101 Personal Training coming up here in the next segment. And then this gentleman here, Keon Rose, along with that funny guy in the back, 2 studios over. I see him back there He's just watching video games, I bet, more than anything. Russell Stroud, back over in the newsroom. Two Millennials Talking coming up at 8 o'clock. What are you talking about? Do you know?
We never know until we get there.
I should have known. I should have known. All right, we got more coming up after the break. Stick around. It's the Locker Room Show on Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Traffic, news, and information. Nuga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chatta, Nuga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
Authorities in North Georgia say marijuana was sold right out in the open, labeled as a non-THC containing herb. Riskil Kumar Patel and Tankant Bajwa both arrested, booked in the Catoosa County Jail. The products claim to not have THC in them, which is a psychoactive ingredient marijuana, but prosecutors say it was full-on marijuana. Warrants out for a fatal hit-and-run suspect. Israel Martin Alonzo, wanted for the killing of 62-year-old Donald Rackley, who was hit by a speeding vehicle on Norcross Road Monday morning. This 18-year-old has warrants out for his arrest. Jeffrey Harris was identified as the pedestrian who was killed on Highway 153 Saturday. His body discovered hours after the fact. Reports say his body was thrown by the impact. The traffic division still investigating his death to find out who's responsible. So far, no suspects named. Russell Stroud, Nuga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
David Toulis on Made the Move, 1 o'clock every weekday afternoon, 1 till 3, Nuga Radio.
92.7 Chattanooga weather.
Expect lots of clouds out there through your nighttime. Could see a spotty shower, but not much. Little late fog, lows into the upper 60s and near 70. For Friday, highs back into the 80s. A little more sun with only isolated showers and storms, with highs warming into the mid and upper 80s for the upcoming weekend. Hamilton Physician Group. Calhoun, Georgia Primary Care is now in a new location, 160 Curtis Parkway. Personalized medical care for you and your family. That's Hamilton Physician Group, Calhoun Primary Care. And I'm Soren T. 12, meteorologist Hatch Report.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
I got my business up and running, and it's already expanding. I got lucky. Lucky because I found Signal Voice and Data. Signal Voice and Data can incorporate all of my business information sharing and communications seamlessly, keep my costs down, and let me work more productively with endless connectivity no matter where I might be. That's called working smart, not hard. Go to signalvoicetn.com and bring the future of communication to your business today. signalvoicetn.com.
I live, work, and play in Chattanooga, the scenic city. But when it comes to my next car, truck, or SUV, I'm Alabama bound. Fort Payne, Alabama, and Landers McClarty Ford. Big city selection of new and pre-owned vehicles with the small town price and friendly service. Now, I'm not knocking my hometown, but when it comes to my next ride, I only go to Landers McClarty Ford of Fort Payne. Their selection is huge. Then if I can't find what I want, they'll find it for me with the same low price, same great service, and only a short drive away. And I can go online to look around before I leave the house. Got that next dream ride in your head yet? Yeah, you do. Get a head start at Landers McClarty Ford of FortPayne.com. Don't just dream it, find it at Landers McClarty Ford of FortPayne.com. That's right, Landers McClarty Ford of Fort Payne, Alabama.
Nuga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Hello? Who am I speaking with?
Eric,
You're our winner.
really?
You'll receive tickets for all 3 races between the Camping World Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Monster Energy Cup races.
Holy cow.
In addition, you'll receive a 2-night stay at the Microtel Hotel and restaurant accommodations at 2 area restaurants.
Nuga Radio.
Roar into Talladega,
Nuga Radio.
92.7.
your NASCAR racing station. Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Do you hear that? That, my friend, is not what you're thinking. That is the new 2018 Indian Chieftain Dark Horse. Yeah, Indian. Indian motorcycle is more than a bike. It's an experience, an American icon. And Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga is the only place you'll find their new 2018 line. Are you ready to ride? Join the club. go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign, 153 and Amnicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Call 423-875-3600 if you're looking to expand your professional look of your business. Then consider the vast opportunities that are available when you locate your office with the Rains Group family. Remember, it's location, location, location. And the Rains Group has the location for your professional office. Check out the spaces for lease at Executive Business Park on the Lee Highway. Small or large, we will be able to suit your needs with the Rains Group. Call 423-875-3600 for the business professionals with the Rains Group.
Chattanooga Paint and Decorating would like to remind you it's so hot out there. And guess what? Your deck is taking a beating. It's probably starting to show wear. If you're hosting friends, get your deck entertainment ready with a fresh coat of stain and protect it from heat, sun, and rain with a quality sealant. If you want to get to work, Chattanooga Paint and Decorating want to help you. For exterior paint, stains, sealants, and supplies, stop by Chattanooga Paint and Decorating today on Hicks and Pike across from Valvoline or online at ChattanoogaPaint.com.
Nuga Radio. Are you brain dead? Still voting for pathetic liberals? Take 3 hours of Sean Hannity from 3 to 6.
Nuga Radio.
Then call us in the morning between 9 and 11.
92.7
Nuga Radio. It's the moment you've been waiting for. Sam Jordan's Nuga Radio, 92.7 Sports. Now.
Locker Room Show here on Nuga Radio 92.7 FM continues. Keon Rose leaving the room, not the building, so no fanfare there for him. But joining me in studio, I've got Adam Seiler from 101 Personal Training, located right off of Shallowford Road. I believe Brainerd Road is. Let me turn you up here. There you go.
Yeah, right at the corner of East Brainerd and Gun Barrel.
Okay, Gun Barrel. All right. Fine facility. I mean, you've got top-notch equipment in there. Tell us a little bit about what 101 Personal Training offers, for the person out there that's looking to get into shape and trying to get looking buff like you are.
Oh, thank you, Sam. I appreciate it. Actually,
you can pay me later. No.
What we do is we start everyone off with a initial consultation. We do a full analysis, try to find out where people's point A is, where they are right now on the map, ask them some probing questions to find out where they want to be. And then we lead them through that journey and then kind of draw their map quest for them to show them how to get from where they are to where they want to be.
How often do you find where you have a ton of people that probably want to come in like in January with the New Year's resolutions, and then how long do they last?
That is it's a great question, Sam, and very funny actually, because I have been tracking my sales metrics for the last, 7 out of 10 years or so. And January is actually one of my lowest sales months.
Really?
And also the lowest retention month. People that knew in October that they needed to get in shape and were serious about it, they called me in October. If they decided December 15th, they called me December 15th. If they were putting it off till January 1st for some superficial
New Year's resolution,
you got it, then they probably weren't serious to begin with, and they're probably not going to stick with it. The serious people call me in February after they went to the gym on their own in January, tried and failed, and realized they need some help, and they didn't quite know what they were doing. So I get a lot of new clients in February, actually.
What do you feel are some of the maybe top 3 questions that people will ask if they're wanting to try to get into shape and, maybe prepared, because we have all kinds of marathons and triathlons going on in the area throughout the entire year? What are some of the top 3 questions that you know of offhand?
One of the biggest questions that I don't think is pointed in the right direction would be people that are very motivated when they hear all on your show and all over the hype and the newspaper, on the local news. They hear about a marathon starting or a triathlon coming up, and they say, "Hey, that's 6 weeks away. How do I get involved in that? How can I get prepared for that?" And then
6 months prior to that,
right? And the answer is, I can help you get prepared for that next year.
Yeah.
6 weeks from now, that's not going to happen. You're going to injure yourself. So a lot of people get motivated, and I appreciate that. But as long as we have realistic expectations, we want to help them get to to accomplish their goals in a healthy, safe way.
Okay. What would be another question that you typically would get?
Another great one is, my daughter's wedding is in 6 weeks. How do I lose 60 pounds? To which all I can say, I can chop off one of your legs. I really don't know how to lose 60 pounds in 6 weeks.
Right.
We can average. I've seen people lose. I've had clients lose a pound a day for 90 days. I've had people lose over 100 pounds in 3 months. It's doable, but some people come in with some very unrealistic expectations, and we just try to make sure that we show them the healthiest way to take the approach to achieve their overall long-term goals.
If anybody has questions, we want to encourage you to call in at 423-800-8949, 423-800-8949. You can also send us questions via our Facebook Live page at The Locker Room Show with Sam Jordan or at Nuga Radio 92.7 FM, and we will be more than glad to pass it along. But once again, the phone number, 423-800-8949. I'm with Adam Seiler from 101 Personal Training, located off of Gun Barrel Road and East Brainerd Road here in Chattanooga. And when someone comes in, let's kind of walk through the process if we could. When they come in, you give them some questions that they can answer, on a sheet, a little survey to kind of get a feel for what they're wanting to do.
Yes, sir.
Where do they go from there?
Well, we're looking to get a brief medical background from our clients. We want to find out what medical issues they're dealing with, what lifestyle limitations they're dealing with. Some people, I've literally had clients that come in their 60s. They're still young people. They've got decades left and they can't get up and down the stairs in their own home. So they're limited to half the use of their own space that they're paying for. And then I've got people that come in that want to know how they can, again, how can they pass, just complete a triathlon in 6 or 8 months. So what we'll do is we'll do an initial analysis. We'll check height, weight, body fat percentage. We do circumference measurements, strength analysis, endurance, flexibility, biomechanics. Want to make sure that the joints are all aligned properly, that the body's moving the way it's supposed to. And then we can start to get a really good feel for where they are right now. They tell us where they want to be, and we design the program that gets them the goals they want to accomplish as quickly as is safely possible.
Okay. Let me ask you this. When we've got all kinds of national fitness centers, and I'm just going to throw a few out there, like 24/7 Anytime Fitness. You got Planet Fitness, and there's others that are out there that are Gold's Gym. I think started to craze about fitness centers and working out and
Very
all that.
So.
What makes you different and unique compared to those?
Well, first of all, those are every facility you named is a great facility. I'm not trying to I don't really consider them my competition, so I will never try to put them down. I actually encourage most of my clients to get a gym membership somewhere else, because what we do is strictly work with the client. So we're going to give them a custom meal plan. So that way we can take them from where they want to be. We can tell them what to eat, how much to eat, and what times a day to eat it to get them the goals that they want to accomplish achieved. We're going to show them how to do exercises properly, safely, and effectively. And then we encourage them to wean themselves off of our services. I think a good personal trainer's job is not to keep a client forever, but to teach them how to be their own personal trainer, educate them along the way. And as they're approaching their goals, they're becoming more and more responsible and accountable to themselves, and they can go get one of those gym memberships and keep that up for the permanent lifestyle change.
Okay, so you try to educate besides getting them into that mindset and everything. How long do you think that someone would be utilizing your services?
That's a great question.
Like a year, 2 years?
I want to work with someone for as short a period as I possibly can to get them the goals that they want to achieve accomplished. However, some people come in and with full honesty to me just say, I will not do what you tell me to do on my own, so I'm going to be here forever, and I need to keep paying you, because if I don't pay, I'm not going to go to the gym. And
that could be very well.
I have no problem with that, but my goal really is to educate more so than just to push people along day by day forever. I want to get them in the body they want. I want them to be capable of doing the things they want to do, especially my retirees are that's my passion. I really want to see people enjoy their retirement. So if they come to me at 45 and say, look, I'm retiring in 20 years, how do I get the most out of it? I want to help them be prepared for it. If they're 72 and say, I've been retired for 7 years and I don't know how I'm going to be able to get out of bed in the morning, I want to show them how to do that. But I need to teach them how to do it on their own, because I could get hit by a bus tomorrow, Sam, and I want to make sure they know what they're doing. So education's key.
True. Like me, and I'm going to use me as an example. Here, about a month ago, I wasn't participating in it, but with the Chattanooga Waterfront Triathlon, I hadn't rode a bike in over 20 years since my twins and a couple of my older boys, were, trying to learn how, and I wanted to ride to make sure that, they didn't mess up or anything. And it was 20 years since I rode a bike. And, I rode, doing live broadcasts on the route. And it was like, we get off Riverfront Parkway there where the parking lot is. And all of a sudden we're going uphill. And I'm not even 100 yards. And it's like, oh my goodness, my body was talking to me. It's like, you have not even prepared. And it was like, I did a couple miles of it and everything, and came back downhill, to get back down to the staging area and stuff. What are some of the common mistakes that people do when they're idiots like me that want to do something like that, to at least get a little bit of a feel for it, and they literally get a burn for it? What are some of the common mistakes?
Well, taking away from any of Sam's self-deprecation, I'm sure he did very well. And a few miles after not riding a bike in 20 years is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm sure he paid for it for several days afterwards.
Oh,
but that's the key, is the conditioning and trying to get people to. First of all, if you haven't ever worked with a professional, I'm not saying everyone needs to. There's a lot of bro science out there, and you get a lot of tips from your buddies in the gym. Number one is I want to make sure that everyone, it's kind of like a doctor's Hippocratic oath. First, we do no harm. I want to make sure you know how to do exercises safely to where you're not causing injury. And then number two would be making sure that we start off. Let's say I'm 62 years old and I want to get back into exercise and I haven't worked out since college. I remember I used to be able to lift 50-pound dumbbells for a bench press in college. That's great. But if I haven't done it in 40 years, we don't say, well, I used to be able to do that. I'll start there. And that's the biggest issue. People remember, the mind has this extensive memory, and we can say, oh, I used to be able to do that. But if we're not maintaining the conditioning, we don't want to try to jump back in that pool and swim as fast as we used to.
Yeah. All right, let me ask you this, and I'm going off of me again. I'm a diabetic. I'm also a person that's had a mild heart attack here about 4 years ago. I know that you try to customize a plan of attack to make sure that you don't overdo it.
Certainly.
And it's like, what's the plan of progression with someone like that?
Well, we actually we're going to track your VO2 max. We're going to track your heart rate. We're going to track your blood pressure. I would like to see that you had completed some sort of cardiac rehabilitation after the cardiac event that you had, Sam. And after that, once your doctor signs off that you're clear for it, then we're going to make sure that we progress in a safe manner. Again, that first day, that initial analysis, we do check the VO2 max, the heart rate, the blood pressure. We see where you are. We want to monitor these things to make sure that we're keeping you within the safe range. Also, a lot of heart patients are on medications, which they're assuming they're probably going to be on for the rest of their lives. We need to know what those medications are in advance. And that's part of that initial survey that I say we do in the very beginning. Once we see what medications are on, we need to do the research, the due diligence on our end to make sure that we know what your maximum heart rate is. And sometimes there are limitations on how high I can raise your systolic or diastolic blood pressure depending on the medication you're taking. So we need to make sure that we monitor that and keep you well within the safe range as we do something called progressive overload. We're going to push you towards your limits, and we're going to extend those every week, but we're not going to push you past your limits. So the limits that you have are going to grow and expand, but we're going to keep you well within that safe range.
Now, what I've been told by my numerous doctors that I've had over the last several years, because I've only been a diabetic, going on 3-4 years, that exercise and working out is great because you could eventually eliminate that. And it's not saying that it's the instant cure or anything like that, but working out and the physical fitness and everything can help you, with your healthy lifestyle that, you're trying to attain to get rid of some issues, as far as being a little bit overweight, maybe obese, but also having the diabetic issues and everything. Do you work with a lot of people that may have some of those issues?
I think the top 3 patients we work with in our studio and individually are going to be type 2 diabetics, hypertension or high blood pressure patients, and then also people with arthritis. And so we can do a lot to help correct that, especially when it comes to diabetes. We're not just going to help you exercise and lose the weight and get back to an ideal BMI. We're also going to help you do that with nutrition. So not only are we helping you lose weight with exercise, we're also helping you lose the weight with nutrition. And on the back end, we're helping you monitor your glucose by putting you on a healthy diet and telling you what foods to eat and what quantities at what specific times to allow you to get off that medication as quickly as your doctor will allow.
And BMI, I'm assuming, is body mass index?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm good. I passed the test. What is body mass index? How is that calculated?
Body mass index, I wish I had the equation written in front of me. It is strictly a height to weight ratio set within the parameters of your age and gender. So if you have, let's say we want everyone's BMI to be under 25. So to have a body mass index under 25 puts you at a significantly lessened risk for heart disease.
Okay.
So we want everyone under 25. But if I'm the same height and weight as I age, it can become more of a severe issue.
Okay.
Because my heart's aging as well, and it's less capable of sending as much blood to as much tissue as quickly as possible. So even if you have a very low body fat percentage, let's say I know a lot of guys that are really big and buff and have, a ton of weight, but I'm a little guy, I'm short. So if I was 220 pounds, even if I had no body fat, my heart doesn't know the difference of supplying blood and oxygen rich blood to muscle or fat. So if I'm too heavy for my height based on my age and gender, I'm putting my heart at a greater risk.
Okay. So going back to me again, I'm 51, 6 foot tall, and 245 pounds. I've been told I should be weighing around 180 to 185, which I think they're off the rocker when they say it, because I haven't seen that kind of weight since I was in high school. So it's like, but that's why you have the nutrition program as well as having the regimented fitness program that you guys incorporate, correct?
Very, very much so, Sam. Yes, the exercise is strictly to rewrite the blueprint for the body. So when we do an exercise, it stimulates your brain to rewrite a blueprint, but you can try to build a skyscraper if you want. You can have the best blueprints in the world and the smartest architect, but if the building materials don't show up and you get a bunch of mud dropped off truck after truck of it, you're not going to build a very, very strong, tall, successful skyscraper. So we're looking to make sure the right ingredients are going into the body, the right stimuli are being applied to the body, and that way the brain knows how to reallocate those resources, make sure the muscles are getting what they need and the chemical reactions are occurring in the right rate.
Okay. So we've talked a lot of, about the different things that you do. Where can they find your location at? And if you also want to mention about Turnbuckle Fitness, you can do that as well.
Yes, definitely. The one-on-one personal training is located at 7429 East Brainerd Road. It's near the intersection of East Brainerd and Gun Barrel. So for anyone that probably needs my help, I bet you know where Sonic and KFC are on East Brainerd Road. You come out of their drive-through and shoot across the street, you're going to be in my parking lot. And if you are coming out of the drive-thru, please do drive across the street and come say hi. We're going to try to help you out. And then Turnbuckle Fitness is our 24-hour gym, and that's down in Ringgold. And that is 5833 Highway 41, and that is open 24/7. If you don't have a membership, please contact us between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. And then we're right there in the office during most business hours. So if you come down Monday through Saturday, you can sign up, and we're happy to help you come in.
Okay. And then as far as with one-on-one personal training or personal fitness, you're open from when to when?
We are open from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday and 6 a.m. to noon on Saturday. However, the Saturday hours, they get stretched sometimes. If it's a holiday the week prior, sometimes we're there till 5 or 6 p.m. on Saturday. So we're really there based on the need of our clients.
Okay. And very convenient locations for our Georgia listeners, as well as here in the Tennessee Valley, here in the Chattanooga area. And we encourage you to give them a call. And the phone number for one-on-one personal training is
423-704-7237.
And I'm going to put you on the spot for Turnbuckle Fitness. Go ahead.
That's my cell phone. Call me there too. Call me there. And regardless, we're going to get you the help you need in the area you live in.
Okay. And they've got a lot of great services. And from what Adam described here tonight, they're implementing nutritional values as well as physical fitness regimens to help you get into shape. So if you do want to get into a triathlon or, an Ironman competition, don't do it 6 weeks before. Maybe
Ideally
like
not.
6 months to a year, maybe before.
We'll get you in the 2019 Ironman there.
Okay.
We'll get you ready.
All right. So what else can they expect when they go to either one-on-one personal training or to Turnbuckle Fitness?
Well, Turnbuckle Fitness is a full-service 24-hour gym, so you're going to get a key card. You're going to have access to it 24/7. We got really family-friendly membership options, so if you're coming in with a spouse or even just joining with a friend, you get some really heavy discounts there, so there's a lot to take advantage of. If you come to one-on-one personal training, we're going to dial in your nutrition, your exercise program, and we're going to give you a 90-day program to follow after you leave us to make sure that when you're ready to fly, we ease you out of the nest with all the tools you need to continue successfully.
All right. So one-on-one personal training is located on East Brainerd Road, 7429. East Brainerd Road, and in Turnbuckle Fitness over on Route 41, US 41, there in Ringgold. And I accidentally came by it the other day, and it's like, oh, that's where Turnbuckle is. And it's like, you can't miss it right there on the 4-lane there on US 41 between, I believe that would be, it's not Battlefield, it's the next exit down from that, between there and Battlefield Parkway.
It's right across from the jail there on Highway 41.
Yes.
Right at the city limits there almost.
So if you've been there, you need to walk across the street and work it off. But anyway, Adam Seiler joining us here tonight. And we encourage you, if you are looking for a way to get into shape and doing it the right way, give one-on-one personal training a call and or stop by. There are two convenient locations there on East Brainerd Road or down on US 41 there in Ringgold. Appreciate Adam joining us here tonight. Don't forget, coming up here in just a little bit, we've got Two Millennials Talking with Keon Rose and Russell Stroud, and they will be having who knows what kind of a conversation tonight, talking about millennial things, and it makes it interesting at times. So make sure you tune in right after CBS World and National News. I will talk to you again very soon. You never know when. And until then, have a great evening and stay safe.